Lila Thompson was a 26-year-old graphic designer with a zest for life. She thrived in the bustling atmosphere of her downtown office, surrounded by creative minds. After long hours spent developing digital art, Lila often relished her evening walks home through the city's vibrant streets, headphones in place, music guiding her steps. Her friends admired her independence. "You're so brave, walking home alone at night," they would tease, but Lila brushed it off with a smile. She felt safe in Riverton. After all, it was a city alive with people, lights, and energy. But on one fateful evening, as she strolled through the familiar streets, a feeling of unease began to settle in her stomach. Mark Caldwell was a 32-year-old IT technician who blended into the background of society. He was quiet, unassuming, and meticulously organized. Yet beneath this facade lay a darkness that festered within him, a compulsive obsession with control. It started innocently enough. He had spotted Lila in a local cafe, her laughter infectious, her energy magnetic. He became captivated by her, and gradually that admiration morphed into something sinister. Mark began to shadow her, studying her daily routines. He noted the times she left for work, the routes she took, and the places she frequented. At first, it felt harmless, an exercise in voyeurism. But as the days passed, it escalated. He found himself anticipating her walks home, positioning himself at strategic points along her route, pretending to be engrossed in his phone while he watched her pass by. One rainy evening, Lila noticed him standing beneath a streetlight, his gaze fixed in her direction. She shivered slightly, dismissing it as paranoia. After all, she was just another face in the crowd. As she quickened her pace, she glanced back once, and their eyes met for a brief moment. Lila felt an unsettling chill run down her spine, but shook it off, attributing it to the storm. That night, she confided in her best friend, Mia. "There's this guy I think has been following me," she said, her voice laced with uncertainty. "Lila, you're just overthinking. You're fine." Mia laughed, but Lila couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Days turned into weeks, and Mark grew bolder. He began to approach Lila under the guise of asking for directions or commenting on her artwork when he spotted her in the park. Each encounter left Lila feeling more uncomfortable, yet she dismissed it as the overactive imagination of a woman living alone in a big city. One night, after a late shift at work, Lila took her usual route home. The streets were quieter, the rain washing the city in a sheen of loneliness. She felt that same prickle of awareness but pushed through it, her music drowning out the sounds around her. Suddenly, she felt a presence beside her. Mark had appeared again, his eyes dark and unyielding. "Hey, do you remember me?" he asked, forcing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Yeah," Lila stammered, her heart racing as she instinctively quickened her pace. That rainy evening marked the beginning of her nightmare. Mark's facade shattered. He lunged at her, overpowering her before she had a chance to react. Lila fought back, screaming and clawing, but he was relentless, dragging her towards a nondescript van parked nearby. "No, help!" she screamed, but the rain drowned out her cries, and the streets were empty. In an instant, she was inside, her world flipping upside down. Lila awoke in a dark, damp basement, the air thick with a musty smell. Panic coursed through her veins as she realized her wrists were bound. Fear gripped her as she struggled against her restraints, her mind racing. Mark entered the room, his demeanor chillingly calm. "You're safe here," he said with an unsettling smile. "I just need you to understand how things work now." Lila's heart raced as she tried to reason with him. "Please, let me go. This isn't right." But Mark had different plans. He thrived on control, the thrill of power consuming him. Each day blurred into the next as he subjected her to psychological torment, revealing snippets of his twisted ideology. "You'll understand in time," he would say, leaving Lila in a haze of confusion and despair. Meanwhile, back in Riverton, Lila's absence began to raise alarms. Her friends reported her missing after failing to reach her for several days. Detective Sarah Reed, a seasoned officer known for her relentless pursuit of justice, took on the case. The community rallied together, plastering the city with Lila's face, desperate for any leads. Yet, as days turned into weeks, hope waned. Detective Reed followed every lead, interviewing witnesses who recalled seeing Lila and a man lingering in the shadows. But Mark was careful, slipping through the cracks of their investigation, his ordinary life providing the perfect disguise. Days turned into weeks, and Lila's case turned cold. Detective Reed felt the weight of the unsolved case pressing down on her, a reminder of the lives left in limbo. One fateful day, a group of hikers stumbled upon a remote area outside the city. Among the trees, they found a shallow grave, a sight that would haunt them forever. Detective Reed was called to the scene. The moment she recognized Lila's face from the missing persons reports, a wave of despair washed over her. They had failed to protect her. As the investigation progressed, evidence pointed to Mark Caldwell, but he had vanished without a trace, slipping away from the chaos he had created. The police combed through his background, uncovering a disturbing pattern of behavior. Yet every lead led to a dead end. The community mourned Lila's loss, her vibrant spirit forever extinguished. Detective Reed often found herself replaying the events in her mind, searching for the one clue that could have changed the outcome. In the shadows of Riverton, the case became a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurked just beyond the light. Months later, as the city moved on, Lila's story remained etched in the hearts of those who knew her. Detective Reed continued her pursuit, determined to bring justice to Lila's memory. But for now, the streets of Riverton felt eerily silent, a haunting reminder of a life lost too soon. This is not just a story of tragedy, it is a call to vigilance, a reminder that danger can reside in the most ordinary places. Lila's case may have gone cold, but her spirit lives on, urging us to look closer, to pay attention, and to never ignore our instincts.